Welcome to An Alternate Hue. I'm Hugh Anderson, and this is some of what caught my attention recently. Happy New Year. As all will know, Jimmy Carter, the 39th President of the United States, has passed away. Brian Westbury reminisced about the man and his era. The election of 1976, when Carter won, seems like it happened in a different country. The Democrats swept all of the states of the Confederacy with the exception of Virginia, and the Republican candidate Gerald Ford won a large group of states that included Illinois, Vermont, Connecticut, New Jersey, California, Oregon, and Washington. Hard to believe. Now, do any of these images bring back memories of that era? Or how about this? Or what about this? That's the wreckage from the Iranian hostage rescue attempt. And finally, a lovely picture of the Malaise speech. Although many political economic conservatives still associate the Carter presidency with economic mismanagement, high inflation, and recession, his administration's policy choices and experience were not unique to his administration. Yes, inflation hit double digits under Carter, but it also did in the Nixon administration. Yes, Carter tried to fight inflation by imposing credit controls on the banking system, but the Nixon administration imposed economy-wide wage and price controls to try to address the inflation. And Carter's first choice to lead the Federal Reserve was G. William Miller, a lawyer with no particular insight into monetary policy or fighting inflation. But Carter was the one who brought on Paul Volcker, who brought inflation back under control and was later reappointed by President Reagan. In the meantime, Carter was willing to take on many special interest economic sacred cows and deregulate major parts of the U.S. economy. Believe it or not, before Carter, bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. at the Civil Aeronautics Board would set the ticket price for every seat on every airline that flew. They controlled which airlines flew which routes and only allowed airlines to use amenities like food or seat types to compete. That's why back then flying was expensive and only the wealthiest could afford it. Now, Carter appointed Alfred Kahn, who despised regulation, as his inflation czar. While most don't remember, Kahn was a lightning rod, much like Elon Musk is today. He was outspoken and got in trouble for talking about the recession. So he started to call it a banana. The banana industry got upset, so then he called it a kumquat. And all this happened before social media. Now, Kahn tried to resign, but Carter wouldn't let him, and he appointed him to head the Civil Aeronautics Board. He's the only agency head in the history of Washington, D.C. to take over an agency and then dismantle it. The Civil Aeronautics Board is gone, and airline deregulation happened because of Kahn and President Carter. Now, the Carter administration also led on deregulating trucking. Before Carter, a truck that left one state with a load and delivered it elsewhere was required to go back empty to the original state before it could make another round trip. In addition, the Carter administration led the fight to deregulate government rate setting for trains and remove restrictions on long-distance phone service. Carter supported a cut in the capital gains tax rate, in effect reducing the top tax rate on long-term gains to 28% from a prior 35% level. Yes, Reagan then cut it to 20% for several years, but Carter cut it first. A good idea is contagious. Today, the greatest economic challenges are different than in the late 70s, but deregulating businesses helped the American people with lower prices and more choices. That's it for this week. Jump on over to our website, hightowerlasvegas.com, to see more from my partners with deep thoughts on things we think you might be interested in. Until next time, I'm Hugh Anderson, and this has been An Alternate Hue.